Right, a few couch thoughts on the whole FTX dilemma. What on earth just happened? Where are we now? And where are we going in the crypto space? Never in my 6 years being in the crypto industry have I ever seen anything like what we've just witnessed in the last 2 weeks. For the first time ever, I'm actually embarrassed to represent this industry and talk about what on earth just went on to people that don't know. There's been an insurmountable amount of people that have come out of the woodworks during this period that aren't crypto investors that have seen what's going on. Like, this has truly hit mainstream media everywhere. And for those people that aren't in the industry, you're seeing one of the biggest crypto exchanges go under, but you're not necessarily just seeing, you're not seeing FTX, you're not seeing SBF like we in the crypto industry are seeing. You're seeing the crypto industry go under. You're seeing people go, ha ha, I told you so. This space is full of, scammers. And from what we're seeing from the whole FTX SBF drama is blatant fraud, and it's honestly horrific. Words can't describe my feelings about what's going on. Every day there's new information come out. If you've been living under a rock, FTX basically a $30 odd billion exchange has gone under. All of its 130 odd subsidiaries have gone into bankruptcy. SBF that was worth billions of dollars is now worth nothing. And he's still out on Twitter tweeting as if he's the CEO. His bio of his Twitter still says he's CEO, and he's been forced out with liquidators coming in. And the new CEO, who was the incoming CEO with the Elron company a number of years ago, he comes in and helps companies when they go bankrupt, huge companies like these, has said he's never seen anything like it. The blatant misrepresentation of the oversight of the company, financial statements. He's basically saying that he doesn't know where the cash position's at. Apparently FTX didn't know how much cash they had. Client deposits didn't even have a line on the balance sheet. It was just basically going into a slush fund to be spent. They were basically making up their own rules. They had no CFO. It was a bloodbath. And I remember watching Chamath on the All In podcast basically talking about when he was asked to invest in their latest round, and he did due diligence on them and went back to the FTX and said, hey, you guys don't have board meetings, you don't have proper oversight, there's no governance. And FTX basically called them up and told them, get fucked. So what is going on in this company, I have honestly no idea. It looks like they've just, ego got out of control. They've tried to bail out their holding company, Alameda Research. Now, I personally have been very close to people like this in the past that show one thing, but really in the background are doing another. And I'm seeing the same thing with SBF. It's fraud, it's psychopathic lying. It's honestly disgusting, and I feel sorry for anyone that's been caught up in everything that's going on. You can read a little bit more in depth about our posts on Collective Shift if you want to know all the ins and outs, but just all we need to know is bad. And the contagion risk from here is pretty worrying, honestly. I think Bitcoin and crypto's held up, reasonably well, but the contagion risk of where this is going is what I'm going to go into next. So already we've seen the Ikagu fund, I hope I've pronounced it correctly, go completely tits up. We've got BlockFi that have paused withdrawals, and Multicoin Capital had over 10% of their assets under management off TX. That's what we know so far. But Genesis is the big one here. Genesis is an institutional lender and has over $2.8 billion worth of loans out. It has over $1 billion claim against 3 Arrows Capital that went under earlier this year. And the contagion risk if Genesis goes under is truly, truly massive. It has loans and connections right through to Grayscale, for example. And if Grayscale was to go under as a worst case scenario, it could be pretty horrific. We've also seen a big pressure on exchanges. A lot of customers have withdrawn funds off exchanges. There was talk of Crypto.com earlier this week. I think there was a little bit of FUD with the Crypto.com founder coming out being pretty transparent with the proof of reserves. I think he did a pretty good job there. KuCoin, Huobi, I think a lot of these exchanges have been brought into question. Listening to Brian Armstrong the other day on All In podcast, the regulation I think is a big component of why these exchanges haven't had the oversight they've needed. But the frustrating thing for me is that a lot of these exchanges are going offshore to avoid regulations in the first place. So we've seen FTX being out of the Bahamas, and I was hearing 90 to 95% of transaction volume is actually done out of the US regulatory space anyway. So we really need companies like the way Coinbase is audited, where they have actual auditors going in, all their books are audited. Would that have picked up the blatant fraud that was going on with Sam Bankman-Fried going behind the auditor's back? I'm not sure, but being a listed company, you've got a lot more oversight just with board and governance and voting, so you don't have these founders being able to do whatever the hell they want, make up their own rules like they were with FTX. So I think in Australia we're pretty good with a lot of the exchanges having pretty decent oversight from a lot of the regulatory bodies, ASIC, etc., the Australian financial licenses. But a lot of these exchanges still get the liquidity from bigger exchanges, and that's why we've seen a lot of exchanges go belly up. Now in Australia, a lot of the crypto exchanges get their liquidity from Binance. And then from what I've heard, they store a lot of it, places like Fireblocks and cold wallet storage. So fingers crossed, we're safe here in Australia, but by all means, the next steps is really important on how you protect yourself. We've screamed about this from day one, but really storing your crypto offline is the safest way to do it. You've got hot wallets, which is the least secure. That is when you hold your crypto in an exchange. And the reality is it's not actually your capital to begin with. By holding your crypto on an exchange, if it goes under, that money is gone. The exchange actually owns the money. So the number one thing you need to do is buy a cold wallet. Now I've heard they've had all-time high sales with Ledger and Trezor. There's over a 12-week wait. So in the meantime, what you can do is download a desktop wallet like Jack's Liberty Wallet, which is a desktop app, and you can move your crypto there. It's not as safe as a cold wallet storage, but at least it's not being held by an exchange. And then when your ledger arrives, you need to set it up fresh. Don't buy a second-hand ledger, buy a new ledger, set up fresh and move your crypto onto that ledger. It's a complete custodial solution, self-custody. This was the reason for crypto and Bitcoin in the first place. Having your own money, being your own bank, not holding your crypto with other people, like the fiat currency system. Holding your own money is your complete freedom because no one can ever take it away, and that's the most important thing in self-custody. I think in the short term, what's going on is going to be really, really brutal. A lot of people are going to lose a lot of money and already have. But in the long term, people are going to be forced to learn how to use these self-custody solutions. We need to revolutionize the technology in that hardware space. I heard Robinhood's going hard at this, and hopefully they can build out a Web3 wallet that really makes sense and it's easy to use. But we have a long way to go to be able to onboard the early majority, everyday people into this space with the technology the way it is. We have guides on how to store your crypto over a click of shift. I'll drop the links below. Please follow them very carefully. Follow them step by step. You can make a mistake, like even writing down your seed phrase wrong. Please be careful, double check and test before you move any sorts of big amounts of money. If you want to have multi-sig, wallets like the Genesis signature wallet is really good if you want to have multi-sig. But please buy a ledger, move your crypto offline and be careful. Hold your own keys, hold your own wallet, be your own bank. Hopefully that's helped you. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe. My name is Ben, the founder of Collective Shift, where we help you onboard into the Web3 space safely and securely. We've got a lot of resources and educational materials over at Collective Shift where you can go check out. Thanks for listening.